So yesterday I reviewed some books by Douglas Murray, one which is new, one which is a little older, and I put my cards on the table. I think he's a fantastic writer. I think what he writes about is piffle. It's like um, it's like a literary version of Tommy Robinson. It's like a it's like Nadine Dorries with academic pretensions, but it's terribly readable, and that's the point. He's very bewitching. He's very affable. He has a wonderful way with words. And yesterday, apparently, according to the Telegraph, he was in a Mayfair hotel, dressed like a dandy in exile, clutching a book full of end time rhetoric, quoting Deuteronomy over brunch, ruffling his hair like he's been chased by paparazzi, the poet laureate of Western civilizational panic. This new book on democracies and death cults is a sharp tongued polemic defending Israel, attacking Hamas, and perhaps most interestingly, diagnosing what he sees as the West's slow suicide by wokeness. It's a good read, but as I say, it's also piffle. And you have to think Farage, with an Oxford degree and a penchant for Bruckner. Murray, now something of a conservative pop star, floats between Jerusalem, New York, elite speaking circuits in the UK. He arrived on the intellectual scene early, writing a biography of Oscar Wilde's lover Bosie, before pivoting to books like The Strange Death of Europe and The War on the West. And his themes, immigration, identity, Israel, all with an I, with Islam never far from the subtext. But it's I, isn't it? But it isn't simply a firebrand. He's articulate, he's witty, he performs in a sort of kind of high conservatism that evokes George Sanders reading Fox News um, with reading Fox News, frankly, like a poet. He speaks softly, he carries a big footnote. And the latest book um, is Murray in wartime mode. It was written after October the 7th, after the Hamas attacks on Israel. It rails against what he calls the death cults of Islamic fundamentalism and the useful idiots in Western societies who, he claims, cheer them on in protests. It's polemical, yes, but it's also theological. He quotes scripture, he likens Israel's survival to that of Western civilization itself, and he argues that without Jerusalem, the West is amputated from its spiritual rootstock. There's a rhapsodic quality to his defense of Israel, sometimes bordering on messianic nationalism. His language is saturated with religious symbolism, transfiguration, lamentation, necrophilia, as if the Hamas tunnels run all the way back to Golgotha. Yet, for all its fire, the book is strangely and strikingly short on solutions. Like much of Murray's oeuvre, it excels in diagnosis, despises moderation, and withers when it comes to policy. Where Murray did surprise was in his recent appearance on the Joe Rogan Experience. Here, rather than bask in the soft glow of agreement, he went on the offensive, challenging Rogan for platforming conspiracy theorists and Holocaust revisionists. It was a bravura performance that enraged the libertarian right and pleased centrists who usually find Murray a bit much. Some called him brave, others called him pompous. But what is clear is that Murray, unlike many in his orbit, has a red line, and that is the moral relativism that tries to blur the distinctions between the Nazis and the allies, between democracy and jihadism. Of course, Murray isn't above theatrics. When Hamas leader Yahya Sinwar was killed, Murray was somehow in Gaza within hours, wearing sunglasses and a bulletproof vest, posing in the terrorists' last known chair. And the photo was described by some as journalistic tourism, by others as propaganda cosplay, but it was, in its way, performance art, a declaration that narrative is war and that he intends to win. So, what's the problem? Well, and this is the key, Murray's framing often requires a binary moral landscape: civilization versus barbarism, the West versus the rest, Israel as the lighthouse, Palestinian as the abyss, And in an age of moral grey zones, this absolutism can feel both compelling and oddly disqualifying. When critics raise legitimate questions about proportionality in Gaza, Murray dismisses them as either naive or malicious. For a man so keen to defend the West's commitment to truth and liberty, he is oddly intolerant of moral ambiguity. On Democracies and Death Cults is not a nuanced book. It's a warning siren. And Murray remains one of the most articulate advocates of the right's cultural counter-revolution. He's a master rhetorician. He's also a showman, blending Oxford polish with tabloid punch. And read him not for balance, but for provocation. And remember, the real theatre of rebellion might not be in Trafalgar Square. It might just be in Brown's Hotel in Mayfair, where a man in a baseball cap murmurs dark prophecies over eggs and orange juice.